Circuit.com and the Austin Comedy Film Festival Fall 2022 coming up in November, and we're excited about the screenings at the Austin Film Society Cinema. It's not always about the screenings, it's not always just about the video on screen, but in the incubation period, that's where the screenplays come from, where the comedy is written and where the stage is set. And today we have the opportunity to interview one of our screenwriters, L.E. Coleman, whose screenplay, a raunchy children's story, is nominated for the Best Short Screenplay, Best Comedy Short Screenplay Award at Austin Comedy Film Festival Fall 2022. L.E., thank you for joining me.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. It's actually an honor to be here. Good
thank
to
you.
be nominated.
Well, appreciate the kind words and thank you for just being a part of our whole process. And the judges enjoy your writing. They think it's very strong and it's funny. And in a comedy festival, everything is pretty much judged off of laughs and laughing out loud. And you definitely have some of those moments in your screenplay. So good work on this.
Thank you. Glad you enjoy it.
For sure. And, I don't want to give away the synopsis, let you put that one in your own words. But if somebody was picking up and reading your screenplay, kind of give us an overview of what it's about.
Well, a raunchy children's story. I want you to think of Good Boys, Bad Santa, Dirty Grandpa, all woven together and presented in a 7-minute short. And it's basically about a stoner dad who's attempting to give his 13-year-old son some dating advice because the son has a little scooter date with somebody coming over. And so this dad wants to sit down and give him the birds and the bees type thing. Then what he does is he uses the story of how he met the son's mother to put emphasis on it. Now, of course, this will be R-rated because of the subject matter in there, but that's what it is. It's a raunchy children's story. And so, it's not for the faint of heart, shall I say. At first it was called Don't Curl My Toes. Not only you and some of the judges would mean by what I mean by don't curl my toes, since it's the dad giving a person's dating advice and he's using his past history and, so he wants to counsel his son, whatever you do, don't let this girl curl your toes. Now, the audience could think for themselves, but that's basically the story.
Interesting. Yeah, it's a good one. You could definitely qualify for either the dark comedy or the comedy category. And I don't know if you're going for a series with this. You definitely left it open where more things could happen at the end. I'll say that. I don't know what your approach is, what the future of it is, but what's next for you as a screenwriter? Is it something completely different?
Well, what I'm doing next, I'm rewriting an old comedy feature that I did back in 2018 called Who Took Nimsy Smart? And it's a mystery comedy, and Nimsy Smart he's like a medical intuitive, those people those psychics that can read what's happening with your body, the inside. And so he's got kind of magical powers that he uses and kind of x-ray vision type things. And so, but he's kidnapped by two old Irish brothers who escaped from the Bellevue Hospital prison ward. And they see Nimsy work his power and they think he's a leprechaun. So they take him. They're going to keep him until he can shit him a pot of gold or something, So that's what I'm going back and rewriting. So I love stuff like that. Yeah. Now a raunchy children's story. Actually, the background comes from my grandson, who was 13 at the time. And I spent a lot of time with my daughter and my grandson, kind of family night and what have you. And she brings in this phone and she said, I want you to see what he has on his phone. And I'm looking at this. Yeah. Well, you got to remember, he's 13, 14. So he has a picture on there that he's, shouldn't have on there. And I'm like, hey, don't lose your cool. I looked at it again. I'm like, one thing's for certain, he doesn't have bad taste. So, but I, I brought him over here and we're always talking. And I'm like, hey, I'm trying to coach him about, because my daughter is like, she's a nurse and she's a health professional and stuff. So he's already heard these things about sex and what abstinence and all these other things. But he comes over here and I'm like, I got to get you hooked. I got to give you the scoop on what to do and what not to do. And you might have to cut. I don't think you'll cut this part out. So I had an apparatus. I had an apparatus and I'm like, this is, and I had some condoms and I set it on this table back here. And I said, this is how you put the condom on. And, so I put one on, then I handed it to him and he began to fidget and fumble around with this thing. He goes, ugh, what's it? I said, that's lubrication. Good Lord, you're green, man. So, but that's where Raunchy children's story comes from. So we have fun with it. And I thought it would just make a little short, a good comedy. It's funny to me. It's good that you and your staff liked it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It is funny. It's for sure. So when you're developing this, I was going to ask you if you had some characters in mind already. It sounds like it came from, but there's a lot of other characters in the story too. So when you were writing these characters, do you try to write it in a way that anybody could play it, or do you have someone in mind? Are you thinking, what, this actor, this person, this could make a great person in the story?
No, I don't have anybody particularly in mind to actually, when I do those. I just think of the other films, like the characters in The Good Boy, or, or Superbad, or, like a Will Ferrell type character to play the dad who's telling the story, somebody that has a comedic flair and touch to what they're doing. That's but you got a lot of unknown actors that are just tremendous who could actually step into these roles. And of course, the son his lines are so sharp because he's just sitting here listening to all this foolishness, so to speak. And so that could easily be played by a kid. But I don't have anybody specifically in mind. When I do shorts, my shorts usually come out of dream fragments, or just an instance of just interacting with my family. So, they're not like writing a feature where I'm coming out and I'm outlining this 3-act structure. They usually just come to me like that. And I didn't write a structure for this, but you're right. I mean, the dad and the son, it actually could probably be a sitcom, Michael. It probably could turn into something like that, but we'll leave it as is for now.
All right. Well, good stuff. I think it's very funny, and I look forward to seeing you at the festival, and hopefully, we can pair you up or network with some people that are in production, and maybe we can see this thing get made one day. You can definitely visualize it, but I'd love to see it get made.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's the ticket. That's my aim. That's the whole thing of not only coming there, because I need that networking. I need somebody else's eyes. And, it's going to be a good thing.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we'll see you in a few weeks, and I appreciate you taking time to do this interview. Is there anything else you wanted to add before we go?
I'd like to thank everybody with the Austin Comedy Festival. I mean, this is a big thing. It's a different thing when the writer writes a comedy script that he's laughing his ass off, but to get other people to think that it's funny, that's an honor. And so I'd like to thank all of you guys for that.
I appreciate the kind words. Well, thank you for your time today. Take it easy.
All right.
All right.